you, James. Just tell us what you're sort of hearing and reading with regard to the doubtless expressions of sympathy online.
That's right. Hashtag Pray for Nice is one that is being used a lot. Also, I am Nice or Je suis Nice. We're getting a little bit too used to these sort of expressions of solidarity, which the whole Je suis meme started after the Charlie Hebdo attacks last year, and it has been used subsequently for attacks and terror attacks, whether they be in France or elsewhere, since then. You're also seeing the southern town of Nice, where this happened, is spelt in the English word nice. So some people sort of riffing off that, if you like. It is time to be nice, so I suppose appeals for humanity and solidarity. Others using the sort of image of the flag being blended with the fact that this was a truck, and you can see the tire tracks of that truck in certain cartoons that have been going up on social media. Again, here another message on Instagram saying, be nice. So a lot of that sort of stuff on social media, images of the French flag, given that it was the French national holiday Bastille Day, the 14th of July. And those festivities indeed are the reason why there were so many people on the Promenade des Anglais and elsewhere in other spots around the country. This is a heartbreaking image, really showing a body covered on the Promenade des Anglais with a little doll alongside it. Indeed, there were many children amongst the dead, and another cartoonist is inspired by that to show a doll holding the hands of the deceased. Plantou, perhaps the most famous cartoonist in France, also appealing on, showing an image of a dove. I think basically they're appealing for peace, I guess. And then I suppose the people who are really exasperated by the frequency of these attacks are also sharing images on social media. You can see this sort of vicious circle here, or vicious cycle. Terror attack followed by hashtag pray for, fill in the gap. Changed Facebook profile pic to overlay of a flag. Life goes back to normal, and then another attack. And I guess that's really, that's pretty much been the way things have been going in terms of big attacks in Europe and elsewhere in the last couple of years in particular. You see this Facebook page that has also been set up saying, I am exhausted by all of that. Je suis épuisé de tout ça. Je suis Charlie. I am Paris. I am Orlando. I am Istanbul. I am Nice. I am exhausted by it all. You are also seeing hate speech on social media. It is, of course, a space for where comments, in particular on Twitter, are not censored, so people can say whatever they want in whatever tone they want. And one hashtag that has been used is Islam out of Europe, or Islam get out of Europe. So you're having people obviously casting aspersions on the entire Muslim faith and community in Europe, and others using that hashtag indeed to criticize those sort of comments. There has been some criticism too of elements of the coverage by the media. For example, BFM TV, one of the rolling news channels, published this piece of information last night, gleaned from neighbours of the guy behind the attack, saying that he hadn't completed Ramadan this year. So a practicing Muslim, but he had perhaps not a very devout practicing Muslim, and this was supposedly an element that would allow us to have a better picture of whether he'd be likely to commit a terror attack. I suppose what they were going for there is, if he was a devoutly practicing Muslim, that might be the profile of somebody who would be engaged in jihad, but it's totally speculative, and in fact a piece of information that I think doesn't really help in any way to understand what happened. Others pointing out indeed that there was a mother who was a practicing, true Muslim in fact, amongst the dead. So that's just some of the coverage that we're seeing, Tom, on social media. There is also, of course, going up online, political reactions. You have the former mayor of Nice, Christian Estrosi, who said, we perhaps have forgotten that France and Europe is at war. A former advisor to Nicolas Sarkozy, Henri Guénaud, also from the Les Républicains centre-right party, said, well, if the military had been on site with rocket launchers, perhaps we could have stopped the truck. So there's kind of very strong language being used, war-like terminology. Indeed, people saying we're at war, we need rocket launchers. It's hard to see from a personal point of view how putting rocket launchers at various junctures around the country will help to resolve the problem of terror.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for sharing that with us, James Creedon there.